love was deep for this Mexican maiden.
Imagine telling your friends exactly how you're going to die, and then watching it happen. One country legend said she'd never live to see 30. Another warned he'd be killed by a drunk driver. One recorded a song that would become his own epitaph. Were these chilling coincidences, or did they somehow see the end coming? Today, we're counting down 10 of the most haunting, documented stories in country music history. And by the time you reach number 1, you'll hear the story that has left fans wondering for decades whether Patsy Cline knew exactly what was coming. Number 10, Marty Robbins. Marty Robbins gave the world El Paso and made gunfighter ballads a country institution. But off stage, he lived like a man racing a clock he already knew was running out. In 1969, his heart nearly killed him. Doctors gave him a triple bypass, one of the first performed in the country, and told him to slow down.
He was sharing with wicked Belina, the girl that I love.
He didn't. He went right back to the Grand Ole Opry stage, and right back behind the wheel of a NASCAR stock car, running 150 miles an hour on weekends between sold-out shows.
My love is stronger than my fear of death.
So why would a man who'd already survived one heart attack keep chasing the exact thing that could finish the job? Friends said Robbins never talked about it directly.
Challenged his right for the love of this maiden, down with his hand.
He just kept driving, kept singing songs about men who saw the danger clearly and rode toward it anyway. Then, in December of 1982,
Away I did go, riding alone in the dark.
Weeks after his induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame, his heart failed for the 3rd time. He didn't survive the surgery meant to save him.
A bullet will find me. Tonight nothing's worse than this pain in my...
His final single, released just months earlier, carried a title that now sounds less like coincidence and more like confession. Some memories won't die.
On the floor. Just for...
Robbins never wrote his death into a lyric, the way others on this list did. But he spent 13 years driving straight at it.
Through my mind as I stood there, I had but one chance and that was to...
And country music never forgot the man who refused to slow down. This next one knew exactly what was broken in the machine that was about to kill him, and flew anyway.
To Felina I go.
Number 9, John Denver.
Together around her.
John Denver sold over 30 million albums, turned the Rocky Mountains into a lyric, and became one of the most recognizable voices of the 1970s.
To the place I belong.
He was also a licensed pilot with over 2,700 flight hours, careful, experienced, methodical. In October of 1997,
Lady, stranger to blue water.
he bought a brand new experimental aircraft, a homemade Long EZ. And here's the detail that still unsettles people. He and his mechanic
Mama, take me home.
had already identified a serious flaw. The fuel valve handle was positioned so awkwardly behind the pilot's seat that Denver could barely reach it in flight.
Painted on the sky, Mr. Taylor.
The plane's designer told him it would be fixed after his next tour. So why did he take off anyway, in a plane he already knew had a problem that could kill him mid-flight?
Take me home.
He didn't refuel. He didn't file a flight plan. He told the ground crew he'd only be up for an hour. On October 12, 1997, over Monterey Bay, California,
West Virginia.
witnesses heard the engine sputter as Denver reportedly reached for that same broken valve. The plane nosed into the Pacific, He was 53 years old.
If you come to mama, oh mama, take me home.
Denver didn't write a song foretelling his death. He didn't need to. He'd already told people, in plain language, exactly what could go wrong. And it did.
Take me home, that country.
Number 8. Jim Reeves.
With you, he'll have to go.
Gentleman Jim Reeves had the smoothest baritone in Nashville, and a run of hits He'll Have to Go, alone, spent 14 weeks at number 1.
Put your sweet lips a little closer.
By 1964, he was one of the biggest crossover stars country music had ever produced. On July 31st of that year,
You love me true.
Reeves and his pianist Dean Manuel took off from Arkansas in a small Beechcraft, Reeves himself at the controls. A storm rolled in over Tennessee.
And that we're together all alone.
Air traffic control told him to turn away from it. He didn't. Investigators later concluded he lost his bearings in the clouds. The plane stalled.
The way I do.
And it spiraled into the woods just outside Nashville. It took searchers 2 days and over 500 volunteers to find the wreckage.
And you can tell your friend there with you.
Here's where it gets strange. Reeves hadn't written a song about dying, but in the months after his death, the songs that kept climbing the charts
I've got to know. Should I?
read like they'd been waiting for the moment. This world is not my home. Is it really over? Tracks he'd recorded with no idea they'd become his own eulogy.
He'll have to go.
His sales actually increased after he died. Country radio kept playing a voice that felt, more and more, like it had known something the rest of them didn't.
That we're together all alone.
Number 7. Ira Louvin.
Now these same two eyes that once were.
Ira Louvin, one half of the Louvin brothers, wrote some of the most haunting harmonies in country music history, and one song in particular,
They used to see our heart.
that country fans still can't quite shake. Years before his death, Ira sang the words, "I heard the crash on the highway, but I didn't hear nobody pray."
They tell me that you never were in love.
A song about a fatal wreck, written by a man whose own drinking and violent temper had already ended one marriage in gunfire. By 1965,
I said no earthly power.
Ira had told his own mother he was done with the road for good, that he'd run from his calling long enough, and was ready to leave, performing behind entirely.
See the future empty, lonely, cold, and dark.
So what happened on his very next drive home from a show? In the early hours of June 20th, 1965, on a stretch of Interstate 70 near Williamsburg, Missouri,
Are gone, they now can see inside your heart.
a truck slammed head-on into the car carrying Ira and his wife. The driver was drunk 9 times over the legal limit. Ira, ironically, was sober that night, despite an outstanding warrant for the exact same offense. He never got the chance to walk away from music like he'd promised.
They tell me that you never were in love.
The highway he sang about took him first. Only his mandolin survived the wreck without a scratch. Number 6. Faron Young.
Lonely night with me.
In 1955, a brash young honky-tonk singer from Shreveport cut a song that would define his image for the next 4 decades.
Without if we can. Hello.
Live fast, love hard, die young. It became one of his signature hits, The kind of title a young star sings without thinking twice about what it might mean 40 years later.
I'll keep you company.
By the mid-1990s, Faron Young was 64, mostly forgotten by an industry chasing a new generation of stars.
I'm gonna stare at you a while.
Battling emphysema and the aftermath of cancer surgery. Friends said he felt discarded by the very town he'd helped build.
You're still here. Aren't you lonely?
Why would a man who'd sold millions of records feel like Nashville had erased him? On December 9th, 1996, alone in his home,
Darling, disappear. Well, look here.
Young wrote a note about his failing health and his fading career, and made the title of that old hit come true in the worst possible way.
I'm mine. I've got a feeling. Oh, Lord.
He didn't die that night. He held on until the next afternoon, surrounded by family. 4 years later, the Country Music Hall of Fame finally inducted him recognition that, for Faron Young,
In the corner of your vein.
arrived just a little too late to matter to the man himself. If these stories are hitting home, go ahead and subscribe.
Now don't you try to tell me.
There's a lot more where this came from. But what comes next? This one might be the strangest death pact in country music history.
Hello, waltz. I think
Number 5. Graham Parsons. Graham Parsons practically invented country rock, dragging steel guitars and heartbreak ballads into the same room as the Rolling Stones. But in the summer of 1973, at a friend's funeral, he made a promise that would define how his own story ended. Standing over the casket of guitarist Clarence White, killed by a drunk driver just weeks earlier, Parsons turned to his road manager, Phil Kaufman, and told him plainly, if anything happened to him, don't let him have a long, dressed-up funeral. Burn him in the desert at Joshua Tree instead. Kaufman laughed it off. Nobody expects to have to keep a promise like that. 2 months later, on September 19th, 1973, Parsons overdosed on morphine and alcohol in a motel room. A few miles from that same desert. He was 26. When his family arranged to fly his body home to Louisiana, Kaufman remembered the pact. He and a friend, both drunk and grieving, stole the coffin off the tarmac at LAX in a borrowed hearse, drove it out to Joshua Tree, and set it on fire under the open sky. Exactly the way Parsons had asked. Police caught them days later. There was no law on the books for stealing a corpse. So they walked away with a $750 fine and a story that's been told in country music circles for 50 years. Number 4, Hank Williams. By the summer of 1952, Hank Williams was the biggest star the Grand Ole Opry had ever fired. Divorced, drinking heavily, in constant pain from a spine that never healed right.
Now I have traded the wrong for the right.
And somehow still one of the greatest songwriters America had ever produced. That June, barely able to sit upright in the studio, he recorded a song with a title that reads like,
Then Jesus came like an angel in the night.
Dark comedy now. I'll never get out of this world alive. At the time, it was meant as a joke, a novelty tune about bad luck. Nothing more. Nobody in that room thought they were recording a man's own epitaph. Released that November, the song was still climbing the charts when on New Year's Day, 1953, 29-year-old Hank Williams was found dead in the back seat of a Cadillac, somewhere between Knoxville and a gig he never made it to in Ohio. 3 weeks later, I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive hit number 1, the last single of his life. Topping the charts from beyond the grave. Critics still argue about whether it was ever meant to mean anything. But 70 years later, nobody plays that song without a chill. Number 3, Johnny Horton.
So high and that made the bugles ring. We stood beside our cotton bales and didn't say a thing.
Johnny Horton had The Battle of New Orleans and North to Alaska, million sellers, a Grammy, a career at its absolute peak in 1960. He also,
And when we touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind. We fired our guns and
according to nearly everyone who knew him, genuinely believed he could see his own death coming. Months before it happened, Horton showed up at the house of his friend.
there wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they
Singer Merle Kilgore, carrying his own stage guitar, the one he played every single night. He handed it over and said he had a feeling he wouldn't be around much longer.
was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi.
Kilgore tried to give it back. Horton refused. So what exactly did Johnny Horton think was coming for him? He told Kilgore, specifically,
Old Hickory said
that he'd be killed by a drunk. The two men even agreed on a secret phrase. So if Horton ever tried to reach out from the other side, Kilgore would know it was really him. On November 5th, 1960,
through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go.
driving home from a show in Austin, Horton's car was hit head-on by a pickup truck driven by an intoxicated college student. Horton died at the scene. He was 35.
Till we see the faces well, then we opened up our squirrel guns and really gave them well.
Weeks later, Kilgore was in a radio studio when a group of self-described psychics called in with a message meant for him, a phrase about a drummer who couldn't hold the beat.
There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they
It was the exact code the two men had agreed on. Whatever you believe about premonitions, Johnny Horton predicted the manner of his own death down to the last detail, and it happened precisely the way he said it would.
to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Number 2, Keith Whitley. Keith Whitley had one of the purest voices in traditional country music, and by the spring of 1989, he was on an absolute run.
There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never.
3 consecutive number 1 hits, married to Grand Ole Opry star Lorrie Morgan, and finally, everyone thought, winning his lifelong battle with alcohol. On April 8, 1989, his single, I'm No Stranger to the Rain, hit number 1. Listen to the lyric closely.
Says you'll catch me if ever
A man singing about staying afloat, about barely keeping his head above water, about hope beating down like rain he can't escape. 1 month later, on May 9, 1989,
when you say nothing at all.
Whitley was found dead in his home, acute alcohol poisoning. His blood alcohol level was 47, nearly 5 times the legal limit. Roughly 20 shots of hard liquor. His wife had once tied their ankles together at night, just so she'd know if he tried to sneak out of bed to drink again.
All day long I can hear people talk.
4 months after his death, RCA released the song, I Wonder Do You Think of Me, and it went to number 1 too, his 4th chart topper, this one arriving with him, already gone.
The smile on your face lets me know.
His friend Vince Gill was so shaken, he started writing a song of his own. That week it would eventually become Go Rest High on That Mountain.
But when you hold me near, you drown out.
Whitley never wrote a lyric that said goodbye outright. He didn't have to. He'd been singing his own warning for months, and country radio played it every hour, right up until it came true.
And you'll never leave me, a touch of your.
Number 1. Patsy Cline.
I'm crazy, crazy.
No story on this list is more documented, more corroborated, or more chilling than this one. By late 1962,
I'm crazy.
Patsy Cline was the biggest female voice in country music. Crazy, I Fall to Pieces. A career that had survived 2 near-fatal car accidents already.
So blue.
And according to nearly everyone close to her, she had started talking about her own death, like it was already decided. She told Dottie West,
I'm crazy for crying, and I'm crazy.
she told June Carter Cash, she told Loretta Lynn, point blank, I'll never live to see 30. When Loretta told her to stop saying that, Cline reportedly just repeated it back to her, flat and certain. So why would a woman at the absolute peak of her career start giving away her jewelry, writing out her will on airline stationery,
Then my love could hold you.
and asking friends to look after her children if anything happened to her? Nobody could answer that. They just watched her do it, month after month,
And I'm crazy for love.
and told themselves it was nothing. On March 3, 1963, days before the end, a fellow performer remembered her saying,
Why do I let my
it felt like a miracle just to be alive. 2 days later, in Kansas City, her friend Dottie West begged her to skip the flight home
self worry?
and ride back to Nashville by car instead. Cline waved her off, saying that when her time came, it would come no matter what she did. On March 5, 1963,
What in the world did I do?
the small plane carrying Patsy Cline, Cowboy Copas, Hawkshaw Hawkins, and pilot Randy Hughes flew straight into a storm
I'm crazy for feeling.
and went down in the woods outside Camden, Tennessee. She was 30 years old, the exact age she'd told 3 different friends she'd never see. Her voice never left country radio.
So lonely.
Her premonitions never stopped being told, decade after decade, by the very women she confided in. And 60 years later, nobody who hears that story walks away thinking it was only coincidence.
I'm crazy.